Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I hardwired the LEDs to the XP. This will free up the cigarette lighter port for anything else you might need. The video is a bit rough, and by a bit rough I mean really, really rough. I'm not a wiring expert by any means, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you what we have, and at the end of the video I'll just draw a diagram out so you kind of know what to look for. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave some feedback, and again, I'll see you guys soon. Here we go. Alright, so here are the things we're going to need. A slim profile fuse tap, some fuses, some wiring, a switch of your choice, the original wiring for the LEDs, this is just part of it, some zip ties, wire cutters and strippers, a fuse tool, is some solder seal wire connector kit. So we'll go ahead and tap the fuse box with that, plug in a fuse into that, and then we'll run a wire from here, it connected to this. Then this will ground off somewhere, and we'll have it hooked up to this, extra wiring if we need it, zip ties and all that jazz. This allows you, if you've never seen this before, so basically it's a heat shrink wrap like kind of deal, but in the middle there's actually solder. So once you put the wires together, you heat up the shrink wrap and the solder melts, and you can melt the tube together, so it's a 2-in-1 kind of kit, really handy. And so now let's go ahead and get the dashboard taken apart so we can go ahead and get this started. So from here, there's a switch in the bottom left and the bottom right. Be careful you don't rip those out, and you'll be good to go. I decided for the wire that came with the LEDs with the cigarette lighter, I was going to cut that in the middle just to be safe, and I'm starting to strip the wires for that cable specifically. I'm going to get better wire strippers next time to reduce the time on this. Okay, so here I just cut some regular red wire, and I'm adding it to the power side for the LEDs. Okay, so the next part, so we want to connect this guy back together, and we need to run this over, basically make a route to where it's all going to go. That way, no matter which way I route it, I can have the proper amount of length. I'm not going to route it right now. I'm just going to get it to work first. But part of it is plugging in right here. This is where I'm going to have the switch at. So I don't have to go very far, thankfully. Run it here, and then this will run from here to the fuse. So next part is taking all this off. Let's get that part. So if you haven't taken apart your XP in the center console area, a lot of it just pops off. Just be kind of aware where things go, and watch for screws if you haven't taken any out yet. Okay, so for the AC controls here, there's not a lot of slack you get, so you really do a lot of feeling around. The regular clips will pop out, but the actual control knobs themselves, you might need a screwdriver to push through. There are 2 big clips on either side, and then it releases.
So right here we're taking out a couple screws, and this is to give us a little more flexibility for taking off the lower panel. We're taking off the face where the cigarette lighter connects to. The whole entire panel is going to come off. And with the cigarette lighter, make sure you unplug that as well.
The only way to get out is to die.
As I stated before, we're going to pull from fuse number 7, which is right here. And that should be ignition, so it only should have power when the ignition is on. So let me grab that next.
And now I'm just kind of mocking up where I want the wires to be, lining stuff up, make sure it doesn't interfere with any of the existing cables. It doesn't interfere with the shifter, I know that. And then now I'm stripping the cables.
The only way to get out is to die.
So right here I have the red and yellow cable from the switch. I put those together and now I'm putting a sleeve over them to combine it with the rest of the power that would run to the fuse. So we're going to go ahead and ground the wires right there in that radio bolt. It's a metal frame and a metal bolt, so the ground is perfectly fine. Now, the wire I am cutting right now is red, but it actually is wired up to the ground. I don't have any black wire with me at the time of making this, so in the future when I rewire this, I will go with black cables then. Okay, so now that we know it works, this light will always be lit up. When you press it, this will light up orange, showing it's turned on. So now it's time to button all this stuff back together, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, there we go. Finally, after a few minutes of messing with that, I finally got it all buttoned up. The only thing I left out is this box, just in case I need to rescan the app or have access to it or something happens. And the plug-in. Now, the reason I left this plug port out here is I do have some other LEDs that are actually meant for the exterior of the XP, but it uses the same plug and it does work in here. So if I ever want to upgrade to those bigger and brighter LEDs, I could do that without taking everything else apart. And then the wiring will of course tuck right here, and it goes underneath the seat. I do have a little, of course, a little dirty right now, but I just have to vacuum it up from all the wiring stuff. All I have to do now is click this. Oh, actually, there we go. Now I have to click this, and you see it goes on. Let me see. Here's the remote. So it still functions with the remote separately. Oh, what? Oh, there it goes. So if I turn it off, I turn this off, and I just put it back on, it overrides it. That's kind of nice. And I can go through the different colors. You know, purple and stuff like that. Next up, the wiper stock. I know I said I'd do an update on it. I think the issue is the rear wiper low. Since it's not working, I did look at the wiring harness, and there is a wire for the rear portion that's pink, and it is loose. So I'm gonna have to pop that little wiring box off, like, you know, so I can basically repin it. And when I repin it, then I'll see if that fixes it, because it did work before. So I don't know why it would just work a couple times and never again. But yeah, that's how you guys wire it up. Let me know what you guys think.
Okay, so this is a more detailed view. This is not to scale. You're going to have your fuse right here. This is going to provide the power. Okay. Then, from your switch here, you're going to go ahead and merge the yellow and the red and take that to the power. The blue cable on the switch is going to connect to the red power for the LEDs. And then obviously both the grounds will go to ground. Now the reason you connect it this way is this allows the blue switch, or the blue wire, functions with the switch itself. So you could technically run the power and ground from here just directly to like the fuse, you know, like run the power that and then ground. But if you want the switch, you have to do it in this way. Now this might be only specific to this type of switch. If you have a different one, you'll have to wire it differently. I'll leave links to this switch in the description. That way you guys can pick up the specific one. But basically, yeah, you're going to have power, ground, and accessory and all that jazz.
Well, here we are. It's not super dark out. It's still pretty bright. So the interior is somewhat lit, I should say. Here's the button. Let me press that, and boom, got some light. So, still pretty bright given how bright it is outside. And then, you know, the footwell lights up pretty well too. Now that's the night shot. Well, thanks guys for watching today's video. It was a lot of work, and there was a whole bunch of things I could do differently for sure. At least a proof of concept, it does work. So I'm going to go ahead and rewire some of this later down in the future. You know, better quality lines, you know, better heat shrink and all that kind of jazz. So again, leave some feedback if you guys have anything. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys so much for being on this journey, going for the goal of 500 by the end of the year. Thanks guys, have a great day.